Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Mr. Jones with Math Talks here on Miss Emma's house. I am excited tonight because we're changing the game up just a little bit. As you can see behind me, there's no whiteboard tonight. I don't have any markers in my pocket. I'm just here with a very special young lady. Over the next couple of weeks with Math Talks, I've invited 10 of my former students from what I've taught or tutored to come just talk about how they use math in the real world. And tonight I have with me Miss Shanique Yates. And she's going to introduce herself in just a little bit. But I'm just so happy to be here just to do this right here. And I just want to thank her for taking her time out of her busy schedule to just come see me today. So I'm just going to ask her to tell a little bit about herself. Miss Yates.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. But as you mentioned, I am Shanique Yates. I am a country girl from Dinwiddie County, Virginia, making my mark in Atlanta, Georgia now. I am a storyteller that's at the heart of what I do, and just a lover of the past. I'm passionate about all things culture, entertainment, news, all that good stuff. And now I understand why math is important.
Yes, you've got me curious already. You just said Atlanta or the hot Atlanta. So how are things there really? Is that kind of the really new Hollywood? 'Cause I see a lot of movies are going there, and I understand that part of Coming to America 2 was shot there.
Absolutely. I definitely feel like it's strongly becoming the new Black Hollywood or Black Hollywood. There's always something to do, always something to get into, and it's a great networking space for people in media, whether it's journalism, film, television, you have it.
All right, you mentioned math. How do you use math in the real world?
Yeah, so I use math in the real world to make sure I get paid.
Yes, yes, make money, money, make money, money, money.
Yeah, so definitely making sure I get paid and making sure I get paid right. And I also use math for a lot of my stories that I write for Afrotech. A lot of them are STEM centered, so I'm learning just why math is so important to everyday
Whoa,
life.
whoa, whoa! Time out. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second, folks. I do believe she just said STEM. Hold on, wait a second now. Those that we've talked about this before, when we talk about STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Wait a second, wait a minute. You ain't tell me about all of this, so tell me a little bit more how you use STEM and what you do. Wait a second. Let me sit up real quick. I'm excited right now. Go ahead. I know about this.
Yeah, so I am a writer for Blavity's Afrotech, and a lot of those stories are centered around Black people doing excellent things in,
Who, us?
yeah,
You
us.
better go, girl.
Yes, whether that's business, whether it's STEM, and I'm just learn. I was like one of those kids that I was like, you know what? I'm a creative. I like to write. I like to read. I don't need math. I don't need science. But now I'm understanding just how it all goes hand in hand. I use technology every day. Like I said, I use math every day to make sure 2 plus 2 is equaling 4 when it comes to that paycheck. But yeah, that's really like where I have the switch has gone off since I started writing for them in August of 2020, as far as mathematics and all that good stuff.
Actually, I've been peeking at you on your Facebook page, and girl, I need to rub some elbows with you because I've seen you stand beside one of my favorite artists, Snoop Dogg, and his wife. I've also seen you with one of the girls from the Sister Sister. I can't remember if it's I can't tell them apart, but I don't know if it's Tia or Tamara. But tell us a little bit about how it feels to interview celebrities.
Yeah, that's it's of course it's super exciting. It's a lot of pinch myself moments.
Oh
Like a
wow.
lot of like, whoa, is this really happening? But then it's like I as a journalist, I go in interviewing them is I want them to say wow. So a lot of what I do is like figuring out what they like, what they're working on, something because they get talked to all day every day and I just want them to remember little old me. So
Okay. Um, Going back to the Snoop Dogg experience, and was
Mhm.
that a special moment for you? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Meeting Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it was a super special moment because I was covering the red carpet for the new Star series BMF, where
I've heard about that.
yeah, and he plays a pastor in the in. Please watch it because it's the most
Wow.
hilarious thing seeing him as a
Man.
pastor.
Actually, I don't think it is because before Rance Allen died, a gospel singer,
Mhm.
he got a gospel album out there.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
and
you
he
just never know.
yeah, and he did the gospel album because his grandmother always wanted him to do gospel music, so he did that in honor of her. But that was surreal because Snoop is super down to earth. I was just waiting for my turn on the red carpet all the way at the end because they push us black media all the way to the end. But
But you were still there though, representing.
I was still there representing, and it was great. My question I asked him of the importance of us telling our own stories, and he gave a great answer because like no one else can tell it like we tell it. But it was super surreal. It was great to meet someone who was down to earth, and how I imagined him to be was how he was.
Okay, and I saw on Facebook, if you can or cannot elaborate on it, he gave you a special comment. You ever share that?
Yeah, well, I was blown away because he told me that my spirit was beautiful. And I was like, okay, here I am interviewing Snoop Dogg. I'm excited. I'm nervous. And he took the time out to acknowledge just me as a person. So that's definitely up there in my top moments so far in my career.
Cool. So how were you able to get? I heard you say the red carpet. Now I've seen you do red carpets too. Which you got a job with the red carpet company? I don't know how that works. I don't know. Tell me about that. What is that about?
Yeah, so it's a lot of hustle and it's a lot of hearing the word no but figuring out how I'm going to make it happen.
You said doors get closed in your face a lot.
Absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely.
wow.
So with that, I work for Aspire TV, and my position on paper is I am a social media coordinator, but I went to BCU knowing that I wanted to be an on-air talent, knowing that I wanted to be a writer. And so I was like, I have this job. I'm going to use my handy dandy little at aspire.tv email address and see what events I can cover, like fake it till I make it. And now we're here.
Look at you now. You being interviewed again, right? You understand? You gotta understand. By trade, she's a on camera personality that usually does the interviewing. So today I get to grill her like a cheeseburger today and interview her just a little bit with just a couple of questions. Um, like I said, I saw Snoop Dogg and I saw you interviewed one of the sisters. I think of Tierra Mara. Is that the correct one or which one was that?
It was Tamara.
Tamara Mara.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't know her married name though, but
Yeah, Tamara Mari Housley.
there
Yeah,
you go.
Housley.
All right. Who has been your favorite person that you've interviewed thus far?
Ooh, that is a good question.
And explain that experience if you can.
Okay. So far, I would have to say it's Mary J. Blige
Whoa, whoa,
because
whoa! You didn't tell me about that one. Mary
yeah,
J. The Queen of Soul.
the Queen of
No
Soul,
drama herself.
no drama herself,
Mm,
and of course,
wow.
with the pandemic, things have shifted with the way that we conduct interviews. Like we get to be here, but at the time that I interviewed her, it was virtually, and it was just so surreal because I got on, and she got on looking beautiful as ever, and she was just so cool, calm, laid back, and that was a huge moment for me because I asked her, I'm like, you just turned 50.
She
What's
ain't no
next for
50.
Mary? No, yeah, no, she's
She
50.
looking
Like, I'm
good for
like,
50.
I'm trying to look
Ooh.
like that when I turn 50.
Ooh.
Seriously. And so I just asked her, like, what's next? Because she's acting, she's doing so
Yeah.
many things.
I saw her
And
with Regina King at HBO. I forgot the name of it, but it was a comic book series. And she was
mhm.
like kicking people's butts like a whole lot. I was like, this ain't married.
Yeah.
This ain't the singer, but she was
And
doing her thing.
and that's actually how I got to interview her because actually what she's doing behind the scenes is super dope. But I did a story on her for Afrotech because she partnered with Gold Bond to bring light to black stunt women and also help young, like at risk black girls get into the profession and figure out if that's something they want to do. Because a lot of times the stunt
Wow.
doubles are in blackface, right? Because they don't have a lot of people in the stunt double industry that look like us. So she's working with Gold Bond to change that. And I think that I was like, this is so cool.
Okay, so you done ruined it for me. So what you telling me? That's not really Mary in all those karate fight scenes, punching scenes.
Not all the time. It's usually a double, but at least now we know there it's forward movement that the double at least has the same skin complexion as her.
That's called progress.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. You mentioned you work for Aspire TV. I've never really heard of Aspire TV. Can you tell us a little bit more about Aspire TV?
Yeah, so Aspire was founded in 2012 by Magic Johnson. It is a
Wow. Okay.
lifestyle television, a black lifestyle television network that is geared toward the culture,
Right.
urban lifestyle. So think HGTV, but R for us. So we've had a home design, like an interior design show with Nikki Chu. We've had Butter and Brown. Chef G Garvin just came back
Yes.
with his
Yes.
cooking, you know?
Yes.
And so it's like, it's all the things that we're into told by us. And so, yeah, I manage their digital and social media. I host for them sometimes. I produce. I really am a jack of all trades there.
I see that. Now you mentioned that you were a little old girl from Dinwiddie County. So why you ain't just go to like one of the local news networks or stay local? But like say you decided to leave the nest and fly all the way to Georgia.
Yes,
So
yes.
what brought about the change?
I always had Atlanta on my radar. After I
Mm.
graduated college, I like anybody, like my friends, I talked about it all the time. And eventually I stopped talking about it
And
and I
did
was like,
something
I'm just
about
going
it.
to do it. But I really did start in local news because I worked at NBC 12 as a production assistant.
Wow.
And I realized that that wasn't my ministry.
Oh wow. Okay.
I realized hard news really isn't my ministry, and I kind of like took a break from it to discover myself, figure out what I like to do, what I'm good at, what doesn't feel like work, right? Like what truly makes me happy. And for that, it's sharing our stories. And so I, thanks to my mentor Keisha Taylor, I have to shout her out. She's
I went to school
also
with her, Dinwiddie. Hey,
yeah,
you talking
she's
about
also a
Dinwiddie in the
Dinwiddie.
house?
Yeah, she's also
And she did CNN
Dinwiddie.
for a while, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Yes.
Hey, folks, if you don't know about Dinwiddie, hey, Dinwiddie, Central District, you know about football. But like I said, it's more than just football now, folks. We got folks that's in the media, journalism, writing, whole lot of great things going on.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you seen Keisha?
I feel like with the pandemic, it's been a while, but we do still keep in touch. I'll shoot her a text and see how she's doing. She'll see what I'm working on, but I always let her know thank you for helping me. Because of her, I actually hit her up, like the power of mentors. I hit her up and I was like,
She was a
"Hey,
mentor. Oh wow, that's
yeah."
awesome.
I said, "Hey, Keisha, I want to move to Atlanta this year," and that was 2019. And I thought she had forgot about me, but she eventually let me know that she knew of an opening at Aspire TV,
Awesome.
and I didn't tell anybody except for my best friend. I decided not to tell my parents. I decided not to tell my nana. I decided not to tell my siblings
Hold on.
because
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second. You about to get me in trouble for real. You ain't tell Nana.
no, I didn't tell anyone until it was solidified that I was moving because I was leaving a comfortable job. I was working at T-Mobile as a social media coordinator, great pay, remote, great benefits. And when I started at Aspire, I was a contractor. So I was leaving all of these benefits for the unknown and truly taking a leap of faith.
That's called stepping out on faith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I got another question. This is kind of off for the job, but you mentioned your family. You didn't tell your family. So how should I phrase this? I know your family. You come from a strong black family, a strong background. So how has that helped you with all the decisions that you made to move from Dinwiddie to Atlanta, and how has that affected your life? Because I know they're still part of your life, and I know your grandma, Miss Yates. That's everybody, mama. I don't know. Woo. Hope she's gonna watch this later on. But like I said, she everybody, mama. And like I said, she was one of my mentors. You're talking about mentorship right there, and just her how she gives back and gives back in love as well too. So I gotta just I'm not blood, but you blood. So how was that experience with that, and just that transition?
Yeah, so I definitely will say I'm super blessed because as a kid, my dad tells this story a lot. As a kid, I stuttered a lot. And
You
my dad was like, okay, slow down, because I would get so excited, and I was a shy kid, but I just really had a supportive family, or I have a supportive family where I'm like, oh, I want to do this. Like, they're coming to debates, they're coming to me doing my speeches. And like, because of that, I've always felt like, okay, I can do this. I can do what I want to do as long as I work hard. Having my mom like make so many sacrifices to let me do things that I wanted to do, and never once like I had more outside people ask, like, why did I want to go to school to talk or write? But my family has always believed in me. And even when they didn't, it's kind of like show and tell. So it's just like, okay. Like, they're like, all right, well, you said you were going to do it. And so I definitely think that foundation has truly helped me to be where I am today. And it's also why I approach everything with love. Like, everything is like I wanna. Because I know that I am a vessel, so I know that I am here for an assignment, and right now
wow,
I'm just
enjoy your
listening to
assignment
that.
and
Yeah.
use that God-given talent, girl. Yes, yes, yes. All right, I won't get in trouble for this question right here. All right, a lot of your family members are educators. So, how did you get away from the education bug and get into this social media side?
Yeah, because I didn't want to do it. Honestly.
I ain't gonna. I didn't say it. Ma Yates. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
But I love education. I love to learn. Like I said, I love to read. I'm always learning, and I get to learn in my job, and I'm still in it now that I think about it, in a sense, because like I'm
That's the joke.
informing the masses as a journalist. But I realize, because of teachers like you, when someone has a passion for teaching, it shows, and you can tell the
Thank you.
difference for people who don't really want to be there. And I didn't want to be one of those teachers that didn't want to really be there,
And
because
just because your mama says so and your grandma says so, no, it's not
yeah,
like that
yeah,
no
it
more.
doesn't work like that. And I try to encourage everybody to, and I'm still learning this myself, because I turned 29 in 2 weeks, and I'm still learning, like, okay, am I doing this because other people want me to do it, or am I doing it because Shanique really enjoys this
It's
is
that
something I
passion.
want to
That's what you
do.
have to do. You have to find that passion within
Yeah.
you. And something I had to do a couple of years ago. I had to reflect on it. So
Yeah.
I still want to be teaching because, like I said, I thought I would be in a different place right now, but I'm back in the classroom and I'm really actually enjoying the classroom again, kind of starting over because I've been here, been there, been in a lot of different places, different positions, but being back in the classroom is something else. And I talked to Mr. Norman about it in our interview before. It was totally different being back behind the camera because this COVID thing did change the whole game in
Yeah.
education. So, how did the COVID affect your industry?
Oh, that's another great question, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I moved to Atlanta August 2019, so I had August. A few, yeah, I still count on my fingers, but I had just a few months before the pandemic hit. And so, me being very selfish, I was like, oh my gosh, the world's falling apart and I'm just getting started. I was really like, me. Like, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I really had to direct that energy and do some deep soul searching, and really realize, like, okay, are you doing this for you, or are you doing this to make an impact?
Right.
and
Ooh, I
and
like that.
and so with that, I will honestly say, and this is not like, the pandemic has affected people in so many different ways,
Yes.
but I will say that it has opened doors for me to work do the things that I love. Like I started writing more for outlets during the pandemic, and being able to interview people like Mary or Tamara, that was all virtual, right? Now we
Right.
have these virtual press junkets where I zap into a Zoom, interview them for 5 minutes, and then I have to get
That
off.
word. You just made more money for Zoom right there. See, Zoom is it. Cause we did a lot of conference calls this summer with that Zoom. So, and
Yeah.
that was our platform in school that we had. So, was it nervous at first? Yes, but now I feel like I'm an expert at Zoom right now.
Yeah. And so I also feel like the pandemic has shifted the entertainment industry as a whole. I feel like a lot of authenticity is back, which is something that we needed. We needed a reset. Because if you look at the news, you look at the stories, it's like those underdogs are rising to the top.
Because it gave them that platform.
And then the people who aren't really doing the right things are withering away or falling. You know, things are really changing, and you're seeing more authenticity, in my opinion. And I definitely think it's from the pandemic, because everybody had to sit down and take a break.
Everybody.
Everybody.
That's what I like when you said that. Everybody had to sit down.
Everybody.
And reevaluate a whole lot of things. You said you're a writer. How does the writing work for you? I've heard of this. I'm not an expert, but a freelance writer. You're a freelance writer?
Yes.
And can you explain to my students what that is, a freelance writer?
Yeah, so I'm a freelance writer, which means that various outlets pay me to report on various topics.
I like that word, pay you.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
paid. We're going to make sure that
Because the
gets
word
in
is
there.
freelance. It's like, what, you do it for free? No.
No, I used to, when I first was like, I love to do this, but I was like, no.
Because I heard they pay
I
good
gotta
money
get
for
paid now.
articles, like newspapers, magazines,
Yeah.
and now, what is it, blogs? Do you blog too?
Yeah, so I write for various blogs. I just did a story for HubSpot, their blog, and it was just about different, what are those things called? Grants for Black women business owners. But yeah, so I write for.
You got your hand in the game, don't you?
Yeah,
Go
I'm just
ahead.
like writing, and it's funny because I started out being stretched when, like I said, Blavity, Afrotech is business and it's technology, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not my strong suit. But I prayed about it, I meditated on it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And
There's to go that faith again.
yeah,
Yes.
having that faith, and honestly, Afrotech has opened so many doors for me because it allows me to infuse the love for entertainment and technology, because the two go hand in hand, even though people don't really realize. I'm one of those people that didn't realize that. But yeah, and from Afrotech, working with them, I also write for our sister brands, which is Shadow and Act, which is film and television, and then also 2190, which is more of your girl bosses and things like that.
Oh wow! All right, I want to hit you. I want to hit you where it hurt right now. You ready?
Okay.
What are you writing for yourself, and when is your first book coming out?
Oh my gosh, that's
Whoops.
oh gosh. You know, I want to write a book, but I'm not even gonna lie, I don't have the discipline to write a book right now.
Okay.
But I will make that time. And as far as me, like writing for myself, things that I write for myself is like my journal, which is
Okay.
a part of my morning routine and my meditation.
So the
So
writer
I do a lot
actually
of
writes.
reflecting. Yeah, like a lot of reflecting, and I'm huge on manifesting my goals, and I'm still old school, so it got to touch that paper. The pen has to touch the paper for me.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you the question they ask in all interviews. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I will have my own entertainment hub, and it will open the door for other people who look like me, who may have not been given a chance
I like
in that career. And it'll include everything from hosting to writing to producing. Anything you can think of, it's going to happen. But I just want to build a safe space and a hub for Black content creators.
Cool. And the next question that kind of piggybacks off of that, is there anybody that you hope to interview that you have not interviewed yet?
Yeah, so I am a huge fan of Diddy. And
Oh wow.
yeah, like I am an honorary
Been
member.
around.
Yeah, like I can Diddy bop for days. People who know me, they know this about me. And Yeah, I'm gonna interview Diddy one day, and I'm gonna be able to sit down and just talk about the things that he's done in entertainment and music. I feel like I just keep inching closer and closer to that goal because I also freelance for his television network Revolt, and I've been in and
All right, girl, hold on. I'm gonna get you to cut me a check before you leave here
no,
today.
no, 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 no. And I've been like, and I think we offlined about this, but when I first moved to Atlanta, one of the first events I covered was his Revolt
Right.
Summit in 2019, and he was right there. He wasn't doing interviews, but I have faith that it's
One day.
coming. It's coming. I was like, I've already interviewed
We're gonna
Mary.
touch and agree. We're gonna touch and
Touch
agree
and
on that.
agree.
It's
It's
gonna happen
coming.
soon.
It's coming.
All right, we're gonna shift one more time. I got this question that I had right here. Let's go back. Woo! Before the gray hair on this beard right here, for the gray hair. Little girl called me out the other day too. She said, "Mr. Jones, you got one little piece of gray in your hair up there." I was like, "Babe, I'm gonna let it stay. We ain't gonna pluck this. We're gonna let this stay." I've been teaching folks for about 22 years now, and whoo, it has been a journey. And like I said, this is one of my former students right here. And do you have any favorite memories of me from back in school? And I
Yes.
can't remember if it was exact. Like I said, I've taught elementary, middle, and I've taught high school. So I can't remember, did I have you in all three, or was I no elementary, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it was definitely elementary and middle school. And I always remember being like, oh my gosh, he's going to make me love math. Like, I hate math. I was like, I hate it. But you honestly were the very few, if not the only teacher that encouraged me, like, okay, let's change your mindset around
Mm-hmm.
math. Let's figure out, like, how to work, how to solve this out. Let's walk through the process. If you don't understand it, let's really go through it.
Right.
And that's been my most memorable moment.
Right.
It's just you really taking the time to help me because, like I said, I tried to stray away from math, but
Oh,
you
you
made
tried.
me.
You had to.
Yeah, you made me like be like, no, we're gonna figure this out.
Because you had to understand, right? It was during that time. There was a lot of statistics saying that little girls shouldn't go into science.
Yeah.
Little girls should go into math, and I was like, no, it should be an equal opportunity for everyone. Because like I said, back then we didn't have STEM.
Yeah.
we just had science and math. We didn't have engineering and math. There were some programs out there, but we wanted to make sure that we encouraged everyone. And one of the key things, she brought back that memory, and I'm remembering times with her because she said she was all shy. But he said, which like, wow, you're on TV now, hey. But that was all right. Why? Because you had a lot of people and like teachers at the school that was at the South Side, elementary school, and then what a shout out to those teachers of that time right there. I wasn't the only one that actually cared for the students as well too. It was a bunch of us that wanted to instill more into you and encourage you guys because we wanted to lay a foundation for you guys in all of the subjects and allow you guys to have what we call a choice.
Yes. Yes. Shout out to Southside. And I have to, you can't mention Southside Elementary without mentioning Mrs. Simmons.
Oh,
Because,
she back in the day, that was the teacher to be.
And honestly, I have to say Mrs. Simmons is the very, very first person who read my words in our journals and was like, this girl can write. And I was like, oh, just like really
and she
encouraged
planted
me.
that seed in you.
Yes. And to this day, when I come home, she still makes me breakfast.
And she still got that smile, doesn't
Yes.
she? And I won't get in trouble for this one, Shanique. But I just love seeing her, and I just love her warm embrace.
Yes, absolutely. Same.
And she loves the same back then, and she loves the same way now.
Yes.
And like you're saying, if you do wrong, she'll correct you, and that's what we need. And like I said, as a personal note right now, she saved me because I was, like I said, my first year teaching was rough. Like I said, and if it weren't for her and Miss Anderson, I wouldn't be here sitting at you talking about I got a 22-year career. So I also have to thank her as well too, because everybody got the first, and I was like, I ain't got to do this. I can go get me a better job for better pay. But as the fields that we're in, it's not all about the pay, but it's all about the passion that you have with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so those are my questions for you. So guess what? Since you are the interviewer, TV, I'm going to give you 3 to 4 questions, and we're going to flip the script just a little bit. You understand that? So you have the mic. Ta-da!
Yay, yay. So I want to know, because you have been teaching, and I mentioned this before, that you always know how to meet us, and by us I mean the students on our level. So tell me, what was the inspiration behind Harvey Jones Math Talk, and what made you jump off the porch to get this started?
All right, number one, a long time ago is I call it paying it forward. And what I mean by paying it forward, a lot of people have instilled within me. Um, Believe it or not, we talked about the Taylors, Mr. Charlie Taylor, which is Keisha's dad, Mr. Spence, and like I said, I went to school with his two boys, James and Richard, and because of them, all of us came up under that, and they taught us and they instilled within us, and because of them, that's why I went to Elizabeth City State University and went to actual teachers college to go teach, because when they taught with boldness and they taught with care, they taught with love. Okay, same thing with your grandma, Miss Yates. Woo, Miss Sharon Yates. It's the story she could tell of how she could take the hardest, toughest student that didn't want to be there. She showed that love and allowed them to be there. But everybody don't know that because they didn't see her in full action, the things that she did. And by looking at that, looking at these people here, that's why I wanted to give back. And I know that I struggled some in school, like I said, when it came to the math. That's why when I did my interview with Mr. Norman, believe it or not, I struggled with math. Like I said, the highest math I got through, or slept through, but that's another story, senior year. Because, you know, when you get to senior year, you really got to take the math.
Yeah.
Took algebra, was it algebra 2 trig. I was like, I really don't want to be taking this. I'm just taking this for my last college credit right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of slept through that, but that's another story in itself right there. But going back to school, I am a firm believer, and still to this day, that all students have the capability of learning math in their own way.
Yeah.
Okay? Some might get it through song, some may get it through repetition, some may not get it at all. So guess what I have to do? I have to find out and meet them where they are, as you said. And so with this math talks that I'm doing right now, I'm just trying to show kids, hey, this is how you can make math fun, and I'm going to break it down for you, okay? And we're still growing. We're still improving each and every day. But like I said, in the next couple of years, y'all better watch out, because we're about to do some things. And like I said, I'm sending it to some people in internationally already, and they're using, like, one of my favorite ones is the song. I don't know if you remember the song, touch it, bring it, parallel, intersect. Yeah. And so I did that video, and like I said, they like that overseas. But that's key right there. Understanding that every child has potential.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, especially elementary and middle school, students don't know that potential. So you have to kind of plant that seed, just like Miss Simmons did. Plant that seed, and that's what I do every day. I plant that seed and say, hey, you know you can do that, whether you like math or not. Math is here to stay, and that's why I'm laughing at you said about them checks. They gotta learn how to count that money. Don't get an account. You be your own accountant.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's me. And like I said, I want to continue doing what we do. And I just thank Mr. Norman. Like I said, every Tuesday night I come up here, I thank him and give him a shout out, not to promote the business, but just to thank him. Understand, I appreciate him for providing this platform, especially in social media. And the other thing is too, as you about the pandemic, that's what happened here as well too.
Yeah.
I had to change the game up because they made me. I can't come in contact with the students for almost a year.
Yeah.
And so I had to come up with something to teach these kids that's going to be something they can play at their own pace. And I like it because on YouTube, you can rewind, pause, and do like little segments as well, too. So that's why we're doing Math Talks.
I love that, and I love that you mentioned having mentors, and I just realized that I called out Keisha Taylor, but I also didn't call out my mentor, Allison Tucker. She's also from Dinwiddie, and also is one of the very first people I saw doing something remotely close to what I wanted to do. And both Allison and Keisha will tell you that I was persistent. I was always like, hey, got a second to talk to me? So I definitely appreciate you for shouting out mentors.
Right. And also as well, too, just a side note, there were two other girls from Dinwiddie. I can't remember. I know one name was Rosetta Devine. She did radio. Mm-hmm. And there was another young lady named Keisha as well. I think Keisha Johnson. She's also, I know she did some things for like not
Yeah.
Fox, for Channel 30 for my local outlet here. So it's
Yeah.
been a lot of young ladies in the journalism field that's from around here. So we not, like I said before, we're known for more than just football.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. And so I also wanted to know, because you touched on it a little bit, but when did you realize that math would be a focal point of your life?
You really want to know that answer? Um, Math chose me, believe it or
Mm.
not. Okay. I was, like I said, after my senior year, after I took that trade class, I said, I don't want nothing to do with math anymore. So, believe it or not, when I went to school for elementary education as my undergrad,
Hmm.
my minor was social studies.
Oh. Wow. Okay, now I'm learning something. I'm learning
You're
something.
behind the scenes, yes. Peeling the onion back. So that's what I did. So I was a history buff. I took all these different history classes. That's my true love right there. I love
Yeah, same
history.
here.
Now, what ended up happening was my first year teaching. Like I said, I was rough. I was teaching a second grade class. I don't know if you remember, back in the day, Southside was just a K2 school.
I
And
remember.
3-5 Dinwiddie Elementary was the 3-5 school. I call it the sister school, the feeder school, however you want to call it. So I was did that my first year, taught second grade. My next year, I moved up and became a reading coach, a reading tutor type like specialist right there. So everybody talk about you, Mr. Math, yeah, but Mr. Jones taught it all at first, and then he did the reading. So I did that for a year, and so they got a grant, like you talked about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
grants, which says that one of the reading tutors has to become a math tutor.
So
And
it
so
really did
that's
choose you.
so it chose me. And then I thought I was gonna stay at elementary math, and so what ended up happening, another grant through William and Mary came about, and they got a math specialist degree. So I had to go back to school and deal with the math. So I had to get over myself
Yeah.
and take the free opportunity. If they were gonna pay for this,
Yeah.
I was like, let me go after and take these classes right there. So I had to leave my elementary, and that's how I really moved up to the middle school. And that's how, like we talked about before, you knew me at elementary. I think it was your class or the class right after yours. That's when I graduated with that class. Everybody said, you graduated with us? Yeah, I'm graduating with y'all. And I left Southside. That hurt because
Yeah.
I left a lot of family, a lot of friends there, and went on to middle school. But like I said, it wasn't about me. It's about my God-given talent and helping those kids.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you're using your talent to help us and ensure that we're successful, because you're responsible for, I want to give you your flowers, but responsible for a lot of the success that your students have gone on to achieve. So my next question for you is just, what does success mean to Mr. Jones? And when you reflect back all on it at the end of the day, what do you want to be most proud about?
Oh wow, that's one of them deep questions. Success. The poem says, "Success is a fellow wills is all in the state of mind," and that's what success really is. Success is what I said earlier today at school, is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
So what success means for me may be totally different for somebody else, but my success is being able to sit down with you, one of my former students, and happy to be here and says, "Oh sure, I'll be home. I'll come do this with you." Just to see that you are a success and you understand that seed that I planted, and you're ready to plant this seed into somebody else.
Yeah.
But the key thing is, I'm just able to do my seed here locally, okay? But I'm tearing up right now. But you're able to do your seed around the world. Do you understand that? Because you have to understand what I see in you right now. You're not just, like you said, you just went from old little Dinwiddie to Atlanta. But guess what? You about to take over the world and
Aw.
just enjoy that thing.
Yeah.
So success for me is when, like my mama told me, I just want you to do better than what I did. Okay? And that's called that pushing. So my success is when you push the next person, and when that person pushes the next person, and overall when I see you as a productive citizen. Okay, because back when you were in school, was a lot of statistics say all y'all weren't supposed to graduate.
Yeah, no.
All y'all weren't supposed to make it. All y'all supposed to be at Dinwiddie working, staying local.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? People have instilled things in you. So guess what? You're my success.
I love that. I think like that's the perfect ending. And I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna cry. But I appreciate that.
But that's real though. And like you said, and that's why I want to do this, because this is not about me, it's not about you, it's about these students that's watching this and my students that's in class right now, helping them to truly understand that, hey, where you are right now, you feel like you're struggling in math, and girl, whoo, because we've been out so long and trying to do this virtual thing, some of these students despise, I'm not going to say the H word, but they kind of detest and they despise math just a little bit because it's gotten hard, because they have lost that foundation.
Yeah.
So your story is going to inspire somebody. Hey, I ain't like math, but guess what? Mr. Jones was here and he never gave up on me. I don't know if y'all caught that's what she really was saying right there. And guess what? She's just one of 10, one of many that I'm going to interview and talk about this. That's why we're doing this series right here. Okay. I'm about to tee up right now. Let me go close this thing on out real quick. I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. This has been a wonderful experience. And what's going to happen now, the series I'm talking to former students who I've either taught as students or tutored. And so what's happening now, I'm just going back, and from this, our conversation, I want to develop some real world math problems. So I can't not the format. So this got the interview piece down, but like I say, we're gonna break out the markers and chalk later on, and we're gonna attach it to this right here, so we can talk about some of those math problems, and like you said, count your ducats from all these different freelance jobs that you're doing, because with that too, you have to have some sort of a budget.
Yeah.
Because when I understand with freelance, it's not always guaranteed every month. But once you take that check, and I know you always invest into something else. Yeah. So that's why I laughed, because you have several, I call them baskets to pick from. And you're good enough, so some of these articles turn into, hey, I'm hosting this right here. And she's getting her name out there. Folks, right here with me is Miss Shanique Yates. Be on where she's a little girl from Dinwiddie. Hey, Dinwiddie is next to Petersburg, where I teach. Colonial Heights, Chesterfield. This is a local young lady. She's like not even in her 30s just yet, on the cuff of her 30s. But guess what? She's making moves. And guess what? She made her move from Little Dinwiddie to Atlanta. And guess what? She's about to go international, folks. So I ask you to continue to pray for her as she continues to keep her hand and continues to move in faith. I want to thank you once again. This